Welcome back, viewers at home. You're still tuned in right here on INX Prime Channel 345 on your DSTV decoder. Now we are honored to speak with Bonamelo Moloi, who is the visionary founder and chairperson of the Bonamelo Melisizwe Foundation. Now, Bonamelo is a dynamic youth leader and passionate advocate for community development who was recently recognized at the inaugural Youth Legacy Excellence Awards in the Youth Activism and Civil Society category. Now, the accolade highlights his contributions to uplifting communities through youth development and that of poverty alleviation. With a thrilled welcome, I'd like to welcome my guest this evening. Bonamelo, good evening and welcome to INX Prime.
Good evening and thank you for having me.
Now, let's get to knowing the foundation, the Bonamelo Melisizwe Foundation. Can you tell us a bit on what inspired, coming up with this beautiful foundation, as well as what was the initial foundation when you were sitting down and jotting the plan on how you want to go about this? What was the vision then?
Well, thank you very much. I think the journey started all the way from high school. Mm-hmm. And I guess I'll give credit to my parents. So I come from a family that's quite big on giving, even though it doesn't make a spectacle of it. So in the neighborhood, right in the heart of the township of Davidton, born and bred, that's where I'm from. So my mom, my dad, they're always known, when there's a child coming from school or something, they'd always pop in the house, grab a meal before they go home. We're not well off, but, in communities, that you'll always have something today that someone doesn't have, and then you just grow up in sharing. So I think that spirit took over without me being aware. And I ended up just doing random acts of kindness. And that was one consistent thing in my upbringing without me being aware. And eventually I started volunteering in other organizations, and there was just this feeling about it that, you just get so fulfilled, and then you move on, So throughout work, I changed jobs lots of times, but I never changed giving. I've always been some sort of giver from the little that I could have. And after volunteering in many organizations and co-starting others as well, I think we all have stories where you co-start something with people and then it fails. So eventually, it was my parents again who were saying, we don't know why you keep on doing this thing with others. Are you not maybe confident that you can do it on your own? And I think I kept on running away from it until it found me. And I just found myself now wanting to have a brand that can change the narrative from a black township boy to actually say that, you can actually be more than your circumstances.
Now, would you say the vision has evolved, or it's still the same because of the work that it's doing and the outreach services that it provides to its beneficiaries?
I think it's important that a vision just continues to take shape. A vision is a big picture of where you wish to go. However, the journey of getting there, can take every form. So in terms of the vision, it's very much intact. And this is what gave birth to the slogan of the foundation, that our vision is one. We might be doing all of these programs, but they are all centered around one thing. Everyone deserves a helping hand, and that's why we exist. We exist to help.
Now, as you mentioned earlier on, that studying this foundation, or rather being, if I can say so, in the NPO sector, is the fact that you started things with other people and it didn't work out until the bug caught up with you and you were like, you know what, I'm paying attention, I'm serving you, I'm here to serve, using you to serve the community and people at large. What would you say were some of the challenges in, starting up Bonamelo Melisizwe Foundation and, just keeping it going? Because another thing that's very important with foundation is to be able to always benefit individuals, because it said somebody comes to knock when they were referred to someone to say, go there, you'll find assistance, and because of finances and other things, you're like, ish, not today, try next year or try next month. For you, what were some of those challenges and how did you go about overcoming them?
I think identity is a huge issue. It's difficult to champion something when you don't understand who you are first and foremost. So the fuel comes from understanding who you are. And in as much as you could never fully capture that, but there are certain foundations about what you are responding to that no one else should shake when it comes to you. So when things were failing with other people, I blame no one as well, you know. Those were good efforts with good people, and God bless them, you know, in their journeys as well. It's just that I believe in the growth journey, one was still finding themselves. And one was still trying to articulate what it is exactly that we are on this planet for. Because I believe we are all here for something. Yeah. So in one of those things, for example, you referred to, you know, help and someone doesn't get. I was brought up in a way that money should not define help. Help is help. And you would find that one of my biggest joys I would get was from helping a granny with maybe plastics that were heavy. And I would drop her by her door. And probably she has kids and many grandkids as well. But that, God bless you, my son, from the elderly. I tell you, I went skipping all the way back home. So it never taught me to see finances as a means of assistance. It taught to see me as that channel to give the help. So with whatever little that one has, even be it a smile, be it kind words, you know, if you can dial down to the simplest things in life, many people are only short of being heard. If you can give someone your time, a whole lot of difference that can do. So I try not to even think of money as one. Yes, it's very imperative for everything that we do. However, it all starts with you and understanding that you are here for this particular purpose, but you first have to be able to articulate it and own it. If that is not the case, the struggles become even more, you know. But I guess eventually one learns.
Now, another amazing thing is that your foundation has impacted 8,000 beneficiaries. And this is since it started. I want to know from you, what would you say have been the most significant achievements from the foundation?
Phew. We were registered in Jan 2022 with the Department of Social Development. And it was one of those things where, because I had volunteered a lot, people were saying, get a PBO, you'll get support, get registered, you'll get support, you know? So I had this huge expectation that here comes the money. We're going to help people now, you know? And it was only in, I think, July of the same year that we got our tax exemption from SARS, and I was thrilled. So unlike most people that, you know, I've experienced through, I did not want to fall short of being compliant, you know, because I wanted people to understand that I take myself seriously. So when I'm in front of you, I would at least hope that my credentials allow you to take me seriously as well. Best believe, we got no money. It was a huge awakening to me. It was a huge, huge awakening. We had our first food drive. So we started our annual December food drives towards the elderly as well in the community. And that was our first one in 2022. And it was done through passion and from self-funding as well, and family and friends and donations. And it was a huge success. It all came from fire. And when one realized that when you are asking for help, I think we need to learn that people don't need to do it for you. You need to start something so that it can actually be help. If it's yours, you have to own it. Whether the money is coming, whether the support is coming, but you have to be your biggest player, your strongest player, and your biggest cheerleader, all at the same time. And everything else will keep rallying behind you as and when you keep growing. And I believe that we need to learn that it's our efforts that make people recognize us. It's not other people's efforts in our lives that build that necessary character that we need to establish.
Now, I want to look at a program that says the Kasi Coders Ekuruleni. And I believe this program is quite a game changer. I want to know, for someone who probably hasn't been part of the program or is hearing about it for the first time, what would you say the program offers as well as its impact on some of the individuals who partake in this program?
It's important that we contribute to society in ways that are progressive. I, for one, am not a coder. I'll come out clean, right? But I believe that I'm a visionary and I'm a leader. So in that, I am a channel to ensure that the right things can happen through me. So I realize that in our township schools, coding and robotics is not a thing, you know, and you go outside of the township and most developed places, then you find that these things that are championing our tomorrow, our economy, you know, are started from as early as ECD stage, early childhood development, in most other communities outside of the disadvantaged communities. And I was like, hell no, because how are we supposed to raise leaders from those disadvantaged communities that will change our tomorrow if we are not equipping them now? So there was something that I adopted from Napoleon, and I like saying all humans are equal. There are no humans that are more equal than others. So we all deserve equal opportunities because we're all born with something in our hands that is a gift to this earth. So the few of us and many other people who are doing amazing things, the best we can do is do the best that we can do. If we are expressing on a daily basis that we are operating from a position of gifting, and let us therefore be a channel that those things happen. It might not happen in our time, but guess what? You would have given it your all. So Kasi Coders stands for that. And it's a program that we piloted this year through collaboration. I am a big collaborator. So
as we can tell from your past experiences.
Oh, thank you. So and it's coming together so nicely. Our partners are very committed. Our learners, we've got learners from different high schools that we've grouped together to pilot. And the goal is that from next year onwards, we can have a full-on program that we can certificate. However, it's not about the program itself. It's not about the foundation. It's to build a society from uniform stage where they can be independent and be able to, you know, we struggle with pocket money from disadvantaged communities. Now, when you teach them these essential skills, you drive the passion from an early age, and they can start contributing to their own families now, because they can come back to the foundation, which is what we want to build, and start billing us, and we start helping them find clients to build websites, to code, and all those sorts of things whilst they're still in school, and help feed their families as well. In that way, they can pass it forward more intentionally.
And I think also it breaks away this syndrome that a lot of times when we hear about people that are impoverished, that are looking towards government to give them the grants, looking to government to be the solution instead of them looking within themselves and actually start being the solution to their circumstances. But Mr. Moloi, before we close our conversation, I want from you to just give words of wisdom to our viewers who are looking forward to starting an organization or foundation for themselves, what they need to, you know, gear up for, and what intentions they need to start, you know, sort of looking into when going into this field, as well as what legacy you hope the foundation will leave behind, especially in Davidton.
I think, as I started earlier, identity is very key. You know, in order to be very fruitful, you have to be strong from the inside. Find what you need to respond to be your calling. I think most people are trying to respond to trends. Trends come, they go. And you need to have where you are centered in. For me, I call it responding to your calling. I believe this is me responding to a purpose far greater than I can ever fathom. But if I pitch up every day for it, I actually don't need to worry about how it's going to sort itself out. My responsibility is one, pitching up for it every day the best way I can. And that's what I can say to people. Find what actually comes easiest for you to do. I believe that we call our teachers, you know, and our nurses, we call them to be people who are responding to callings, because it's quite a special thing. These are people who maybe randomly they like caring for someone, and find that thing that comes easiest for you to do. You'd be surprised how much of a difference you can make, because we lack authenticity these days, and authenticity is the one that drives change.
Thank you so much, Mr. Moloi, for joining us this evening and just sharing your journey with us and our viewers at home.
Thank you so much once again.
Viewers at home, that was myself in conversation with Mr. Moloi, who was telling us all about Bonamelo Melisizwe Foundation. Hope you guys are now going to start looking into the foundation in ways on how you can contribute in terms of donations or just benefit from it by taking up a program or two. But on that note, that's where we close it off. Let's head over to a net break. See you when we come back.